Hi, welcome to the video for spacing and filters for sound quality. Sound quality in voice use is generally referred to as resonance, and the word resonance kind of makes people think that either you have it or you don't. But in reality, resonance is a lot of things, and you can manipulate your resonation quite a lot. That's actually a big skill in singing, this ability to kind of put different kinds of filters on top of your sound. Everybody understands filters these days because everybody has an iPhone or some kind of phone that can take a picture and put a filter on it. Yes? Now, actually singing is the same thing. You put a filter on it with resonance, meaning the type of resonance you choose is kind of what colors the sound. It gives the sound color and texture so that you can relay different kinds of emotions and perspectives. We have three main hollow spaces inside the body that we call resonators for the voice. There's the chest resonator. It's kind of the cavity of the space inside here. There's the oral head resonator, which is the space inside your mouth, your throat, and the back of your skull. Now, other people may call these different things, but I call them these things, so that's for your reference, yes? The last one is the pharyngeal resonator. That's the space inside your sinuses, inside your nasal cavity. Now, I'm going to show you how you can learn how to manipulate these, but there are so many variables that this is really where your artistry comes into the picture. But let's get started. The first exercise is called the air condition hum. And yes, that is what it sounds like. It sounds like an air conditioner. Now, it goes like this. You're first going to hum low in your range, like this. Mm. If you do it in a fun way, it sounds a little bit like a cow. Mm. Mm. Yes? However, you don't have to do that. You just do hum, low range. Mm. Yes? If you're a guy, you have to watch out. You're not going to be in the same note that I just did. That's not going to be the right one for you. You're going to be lower. Yes? Okay. Now, you're going to add airflow to that, and you do that by putting a finger on your slightly pursed lips. That's airflow, yes? It's very important that you keep the air steady. You're not pushing it out, and you're not sort of holding it in. It's sort of like a steady airflow, like very steady. Then I put the M or the hum on top of that. It goes like this. Sounds like an air conditioner? Yes, it does. Okay, now we're going to do something that's, we're going to take this into a scale. So you're going to go. Things to watch out for here is to not blow the air out, not hold the air back, having a steady airflow. Very important. The other thing is that you are making space, a lot of space inside your throat. Mostly it feels like I'm kind of like lifting something in here, making my face long. But in reality, this is about the chest resonator. Yes, bringing the chest resonator up into higher notes. Now, the chest resonator is not something you can really change much. The size of your chest is the thing that determines this. But you can have some tension. And having tension here is super, super normal. Yes? So if you do feel like nothing is buzzing here, you might want to actually bang your chest a little bit while you're making sound. It's actually kind of like fun. You did this when you were a kid and you didn't even think it was weird. Yes? It's a very good way to try and get rid of some of the tension here. Yes? Let's do it one more time and then it'll be your turn. You try it. The next exercise is called the puppy with air. And it goes like this. You're going to hum like a puppy, high in your range. Yes? A puppy sounds like this. Yes? And if you have like a really, really small, very distressed puppy, it's more like, yes? Now, that's all the way at the top of my range, yes? Now, you don't have to go there. You can somehow find a place that's comfortable, and that's where I'd like you to start with this exercise. And then when you have a comfortable place, you can move it up a little bit. Okay, now, I'm going to put the airflow on that we just did in the other exercise. It's important that this air is steady. Now, something to watch out for in this exercise is that you're not closing anything inside your throat. This is what a lot of people want to do. And for you guys, you want to think of this as sort of like a falsetto exercise, or you're not going to want to bring your sort of your speaking voice up into this. This should feel like it's kind of like staying inside here. Yeah? We're going to do it one more time. Now you try it. The next exercise is called the donkey exercise. And it is just that. You're going to sound like a donkey. Now, you might not really remember what a donkey sounds like, so I'm going to show you. Okay, the first thing we have to learn is moving the tongue and jaw independently of each other, because they're not going to want to do that when you try to do this exercise. So that goes like this. You're going to open your jaw. Then you're going to move your tongue like this back and forth. Yes? Then you're going to add the vowels on there. Ah, la, 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 la. Yes? And now I'm going to add underneath, on the A, I'm going to put the chest resonator. And on the E, I'm going to put the pharyngeal resonator. Yes? Sounds like this. Yes? Sounds like a donkey. Yes? Okay, now, the hard part here is mostly this thing with the tongue. Yes? But it's also allowing yourself to flip like this. It doesn't sound pretty. And so if you've had some training before, you might find this hard because you have some tension in your instrument about how to flip between these resonators. You don't perceive this to be correct singing, so you've created some kind of tension around it. Now here's the news flash. Actually having that tension is stopping you from being able to control. So if you can completely remove the control, like this exercise is, you can also become better at controlling it. Yes, this removes that tension. So here we go again. I'm going to do the exercise one more time and then it'll be your turn. It goes like this. Yes? And you can actually, if you want to have something that's a little bit harder, you can either move it closer together, like make the jump less. But you could also just take the tongue thing out of it. That actually makes it harder. It goes like this. Now you try it. This next exercise is about the oral head resonator. And actually, there aren't any exercises. Because the thing is, there are so many variables inside your mouth and the back of your skull here and inside in your throat that there's too many things to cover in, say, one exercise. You're going to have to go to the book and read about some of the things that are going on here. This is the main thing that you use to manipulate sound when you're singing and speaking. So this is the main resonator that you can change. You can't really change the size of your skull, which is sort of what determines how big your sinuses and your nasal cavity are. Yes? you can't really change the size of your chest. No, this is what you got. You also can't change the size of your mouth. No, this is not possible. But you can change pretty much everything else in there. The first thing is language and the way you speak, the language you speak and the way you speak it. Now, there's a whole video about that, so I'm not going to talk any more about that. You'll have to see the next video. Number 2 is the palate. Okay, so this is a main thing that you're probably not aware of. Now, the palate is the roof of your mouth, yes? It is the hard palate, that's the first part here, that doesn't change very much, but you can do a little bit of something to change it. And then the soft palate here, which you can change a lot, yes? Now, you can lift it, you can widen it, you can lift and widen it, but you cannot do it, you cannot lift and widen it if you widen first and then lift. But you can lift and widen, yes? So that looks like this. And then you can decide whether to be nasal or not. This, you see how there's a hole here between your nose and the space up into your nose and your mouth? That gap there is something you can decide whether you want to have or not, yes? So if I open it, I will be nasal. It sounds like this. Ah! If I put it up here, yeah, this is something a lot of people find this difficult actually. But if you sort of pretend that you're sucking in a pea or something up into your nose through your mouth, I don't know, pretend that and see if that works. Lift your palate all the way up. Ah! Now I'm not nasal anymore, but I'm still resonating in the space. Yes? Okay, so that's the palate. Okay, the next thing is the tongue. Okay, so the tongue is a really, really strong muscle inside your mouth, and you use it so much. Like, you talk all the time, I assume, yes? So the tongue gets a lot of exercise, and it has a lot of habits, and most of them are really not helpful, let's be honest. It's a really strong muscle, and its real job is to swallow, not to talk. Not to have several languages in there. No, it's about swallowing, saving your life on a regular basis so you don't get saliva into your lungs, okay? So this is one of its most important jobs. So it goes with the jaw, and that's actually its main function. Now the thing is that we can learn we can teach it to be independent of the jaw, and that is a huge part of singing. And I already showed you the one exercise that is really helpful for this, and it's this thing. Yes, the jaw is open and the tongue is moving independently, and then that becomes harder and harder, and I'll go over it more in the language video. Then there is the jaw. The jaw should be loose and relaxed and open. Yes? How hard is that on its own? How many of you carry tension in your jaw? All of you. I do it. Yes, this is a thing. It's stressful to live. Yes? However, you can help yourself by getting better at opening your jaw, by becoming more aware. And you can get massage, you can talk to your dentist about whether you have TMJ issues, yes? It is important that you learn to open and relax your jaw and make sound through that space. The last one is the constrictors, and you may have never heard about these before. The constrictors are a set of muscles that sit here on the inside of your throat towards the back. So they sort of sit on the back of your throat, and then when you swallow, they engage. Yes? They also tend to engage when you get stressed in any kind of formal way. Yes? So a lot of people know these from having had to say something that was hard and starting to cry. So they couldn't say it. So when you're extremely emotional, sometimes these will activate simply because you're emotional and they're trying to protect you. That's their main job. Again, their main job is to swallow, save your life on a daily basis. Yes, several times a day. This is important. However, relaxing them is important too, and that's what you want to learn and become more aware of doing. They don't have an antagonistic muscle. They don't have anything in them that can sort of counter the swallowing reflex. So there is relax or contract. That's it. However, relaxing, how do you do that? You learn how to take a deep breath. You learn to respond differently to stress. Yes, not with your constrictors, but with taking a deep breath. Okay, I'm stressed. I'm gonna, yeah? A lot of people feel like when they actually relax them that they seem a little stupid. So some people call it putting their stupid on when they release these. It looks like this. Maybe it looks a little stupid, I don't know. You try it. That was a breakdown of the different variables you have to control different sides of your resonation. Yes? Now, I'm going to show you 4 very common filters. And in the book, you can go in and you can read a little bit more about them. They all like different kinds of vowels, all sorts of things. And you can hear a little sound clip if you buy it as an ebook, or you can go onto the website and hear the sound clips. Okay, so this is a very quick breakdown of this. These things here, this is my artwork. You like it? Yes? Anyway, these are visualizations that I've created with my students when we do these very common sound filters. Yes? And just to give you a little overview of what a filter is one more time, you probably have a filter on your phone that's the one you use every time, right? You have like a couple of favorites. Yes? These are the favorites of the music industry, I would say. Yes, these are the ones that everybody somehow can find and do. Yes, they don't really have individuality, but that's okay. You put artistry onto these and they will seem more individual, and you can mess with them a little bit and make them your very, very own. This is sort of a basic template. Okay, the first one here is the full open sound, and that means you have to sort of like make a really big space in the back of your mouth. The very first one is the rectangular one, yes? And it sounds like this. Oh, eh, ah, oh, eh, ah. Loud and aggressive, yes? The top one there is for if you want to take that loud and aggressive sound further up your range. You're going to have to add this width to it, yes? And then it isn't so loud, so tall anymore. So it goes, eh, eh, eh. Yes? It's very aggressive. It's very loud. It has to be. So that's not one of the things you can change about it, okay? It doesn't have a quiet version. It doesn't even have like a medium version, okay? Loud, aggressive, sort of, you want to think rock and roll, usually. Yes, maybe soul. Okay. The next one is the angel sound, and you will have done this if you ever sang in a choir, because this is the one that melts really well with other voices, because it can do all of the vowels and it can do a lot of things. It can't be loud though, unless you're really high in your range, and it can't really be aggressive. I take that back. Maybe it can be aggressive if you're really high in your range, but it's a very hard sound to add any type of struggle and aggression to. It sounds like this. Hoo, hee, ooh, ee, ooh, ee, ooh. If I add the wings, it gets a little bit more like, maybe you want to think Disney. Ee, ooh, ee, ooh, ee, ooh, ee, ooh, ee. Yeah. The last one is the controlled open sound, and that's the one that kind of is the hardest one, but it's also probably the most common one. It has like a sense of struggle in it. So, and the shape that I'm creating is like sort of opening my mouth and sort of not, sort of widening, sort of not. It's sort of like a medium, and that makes it hard to do. And sometimes this actually really helps is if you put your fingers in between like this, and without clenching your jaw, you keep that space. Yes? Now you can, again, you can listen to these on the website. I go actually through the scale so you can get a better idea of what the sound sounds like at different places in your range. Okay, I think that was it. Now, you should go out and find your own way of doing these. I'm not telling you to sound exactly like me. I hope that never happens. But go out and find your own versions of this. There are some rules that you kind of have to follow, but there's also a lot that you can break. So please go do that. Have fun with your practice.